Rightio. G'day cunts. How we doing? How we doing? I've had a few. Well, I've had a few. It's a Sunday night. I had a few this afternoon with a barbie, but a few beers. I'm on the old Soda Stream ginger beer, and actually the last of some Fijian white rum. It's quite nice and smooth. The old Fijian white rum. But notice I haven't got a coffee, not wedging in any coffees. I've had a few more hours sleep. Trying to save up. Big conference coming up for next weekend actually. Next weekend I've got a bit of a conference. Looking forward to spending most of my time by the pool, as you do at a conference, and jamming, talking some guitar gear. It's going to be good. But yes, I'm trying to get some sleep. I'm sure there's going to be a few late nights at that particular conference. Hang on, here's the theme. Forgot to sing. Had a few reviews, had a few. There's my theme song. Now, where's the gear, you ask? What's the review on? That's what you're thinking to yourself. Now, personally, I'm pretty good. Most people know me, people who know me. I'm pretty good at problem identification. That's really my one big skill, Think about anything and I'll come up with a problem for it. Now, but in this situation, I've identified a bunch of problems, but then I've actually come up with a solution. I usually outsource that kind of thing, let other people come up with the solutions to the problems I identify. But in this case, I've actually come up with a solution, and that's where this puppy here comes involved. Now, I'll give you this scenario. Say you're camping, you're out in the bush. Now, I really love camping. I love getting out there, feeling the earth, connecting to country, getting feral. Which I gather lots and lots of people do as well, because there's more and more people all over the shop out there camping. Now, when you go camping, here's your problem. What do you do as your setup when you go camping, Do you bring the generator to plug your stack into? That can be more trouble than it's worth. Or, you get dust all up in your Blue Sky and your other big Strymon pedals and stuff. Or then some cunt tips hot coals on your guitar lead while they're trying to shovel them underneath your camp chair and shit. It's just not a viable option. So, what's your alternative then? What alternatives do you have? Do you just bring nothing when you're going camping? 3-4 days out in the bush, no guitars, I don't know. Or even worse, you bring an acoustic. Anyway, so that's where this puppy comes in. I identified the problem. Here's my solution. I'm calling it the campbox. Now, this is just a prototype. This is the prototype building. I'll move my drink. Give you a better look. So, this is the prototype. I'm going to take this to the conference next week, boys. So, I'll give you a sneak peek now. This is the lid, obviously. I'll take the lid off. I'll just pop him back there. So, this is what's inside the box. You can see I'm actually running 2 amps. I'm running the mini katana and the Marshall. Now I'll just plug in the mini Marshall. You know what they sound like, but I'll just give you a quick listen. I think that's on the clean. Sweet clean tones of the mini katana. I've obviously, to run the 2 amps, I've got the AB switch from Swamp. That's the clean channel on the mini Marshall, and then obviously you got your overdrive. So yeah, that's what we're running with. I won't go too much into that, you know what they're like. Now I'll tip this up so you can have a quick look at what else I got on there. So I've got Boss DS1, Boss phase shifter, the PH3, and then I've got me Swampy ABY switch, and running into these two. So just quickly, before I run through the pedals, I'll just run a bit through the construction. So people with keen eyes might have noticed that it's this plastic construction. It's actually, if I tip it up this way, you can have a look. It's just a storage container. I think it's a 27 litre storage container that I've flipped upside down, and obviously made some pretty heavy mods too. So I'll start with the lid. Here we go. You can see we've got some of the tribal tone symbols painted on there. Bit of the old branding as well. But so that just sits on top, clips in. You got a handle up on top here to carry it around. There's so as well as that, in terms of the construction, we've got the pedal board itself, and I'll show you again. So that's a board that I've added into what was the lid of the container. That's now the floor. That's a 9mm marine ply, and then in under that I've got this Tasmanian oak in under there. Now that's to get some nice swampy tones. Now I don't know how much you know about Tasmania, but they've got a lot of dams and stuff, and in a lot of those dams there's like whole sunken forests, you know, submerged forests, and people are starting to get in there and actually go and harvest that timber that's been underneath the cold dams for like 100 years or something, in some cases. So they're bringing up this timber, and that 100 years under the water submerges, just making some really nice tone woods. I know there's one bloke, I can't remember, down in Tasmania is making all sorts of awesome guitars using the wood. So anyway, I've got me some of this Tasmanian oak. I've also, so as well as under the pedal board, I've got, if you can see in there, little piece up in under the lid as well. I'll show you how that comes in a bit later. Now, the Tasmanian oak I'm using obviously isn't from those sunken forests, you know, but you know, it's Tasmanian oak. It's a similar species. It's related. It's still gonna have some of those tonal elements in there. Now, just real quick, back to the lid. I'll just pop it here. I know, yeah, that's not a good shot, but it's got on top, as well as the lid, I don't know if you can see it, but that's some more of that marine ply on top. Give it a bit of stability. You can stick your drinks on it and stuff if you want. But it also, now when you're camping, that's a great view. When you're camping, there's only limited gear, you know, usually you can take, and it's always good to have more than one purpose for all your items. And in this case, the lid with that plywood top, when you jam it out, it can double as a bit of a percussion instrument. You know, you got some cunt come along for camping and he doesn't have, you know, his guitar rig, or he's not even musical or whatever. He can have a bash away on that, add some percussion to your jams. So that swampy Tasmanian oak under there will obviously help to add that tone into his percussion, stuff like that. So yeah, Tasmanian oak, you've heard it here first. I'm looking forward to maybe finding a few more uses for that Tasmanian oak. Now, alright, so it's all handmade by myself. As I said, this is the prototype. I'll bring it up at the conference, maybe get some input, see what we might add, what we might change to subsequent models. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a couple of orders while I'm there as well, so you can customise and stuff. Obviously everyone's going to have their own sort of mini amps and pedals that they'll want to put in, so I'll do a quick run through of the pedals. These two, actually, this phaser and this distortion were actually my first two pedals I ever got. The phaser was actually the first one, and then some bloke lent me this DS1, and kind of considered on permanent loan at this stage. So yeah, they are my first two pedals. I thought they'd make a good addition to this box. Now obviously everything in here runs on batteries, there's no need for power. When you go camping, proper camping, you don't have power, you know. So everything's on batteries, so it's important. Obviously your pedals run on batteries. The AB wide box technically doesn't need a battery, but it's got one in there just to run the LEDs. And obviously both amps run on batteries, so stock up on your batteries and you've got tone for days. But yeah, so I thought, because I've got the Boss mini katana, a couple of Boss pedals running into it, could be a way to go. You could obviously, without the double amp setup, you could just run it with one amp if you know you wanted to, and that would obviously free up. I could probably get at least two more pedals on here without the double amp setup and the ABY. Although the AB box does have two inputs, so you know, mate turns up with his Les Paul but nothing to plug into, I could run him in here and he could play into the amps as well if he wanted to, or she wanted to. Don't want to be, you know, he or she or they wanted to. So I'll do you a quick run through of the pedals. I'll go into the mini katana first. So this is clean. Let's turn it up a bit. Let's throw some of that DS1 in first. Bit more gain. That's me guitar volume was switched down. Actually, might just do a quick run through the humbucker. So, nice plastic distortion, the old DS1. And then the phase shifter. Now, I haven't done any videos on these two pedals specifically. They've been there for various things, but not there. I think I've got that on the 8-stage phaser. Quite like this phase shifter. It's got plenty of different options. This is one of the ones I like to play around with, the step filter. We got the rise and fall. This is the rise. So I quite like that as a phaser. As I said, that was my first ever effects pedal. Before that, I've got the Mustang that had built-in effects, but I had to go to pedals because there's just not that tweakability in the Mustang. You can if you plug your computer in and run it from that, but in terms of just quickly being able to change things, I had to get pedals. And phase is that modulation. It's probably my favourite modulation phase. So yeah, that's that. Let's stick it back down on that 8. But there might be some controversy. You're looking here going, oh, he's running his distortion before the phaser. Now, I don't, before the internet blows up with saying, you know, this cunt runs his distortion before his phaser. I'm definitely in the camp where I like my phaser to be before my distortion. That's just what I prefer. Now, why have I set them up this way then, you ask? The reason being, I know the Boss with its crunchy and its brown channels has got a pretty nice bit of distortion in there. And obviously we know the Mini Marshall, he distorts quite well. So, you know, I'll just get some brown channel going there. And obviously the Mini Marshall both of them together. I'll turn that down a bit, eh? So anyway, yeah, so this way I've still got my phaser, can run into those distorted amps, and then having the distortion here means I can have that variety. I can run the distortion before the phaser if I want to do that too. So this is back on a clean channel, and it's just the DS1 running into the phaser. Or we'll go back up on the brown channel and you can have yourself a little phaser sandwich. Now imagine you're sitting there, bloke sitting around the campfire, he's got his acoustic, strumming out his Blue Heelers theme song. Anyway, you rock up, pull this out, and you just... Anyway, so you get in here to have some swang like that, and you know, blow them all away. So anyway, that's some of the tones. Obviously that bloke with his Blue Heelers, he could plug into this as well if he, you know, is able to plug in. He could have a crank. I might do another video about plugging the acoustic into this. But anyway, so that's him. I'll do me a review. Is it worth it? Now, probably all up the materials in this cost me about $30 maybe. Obviously the custom artwork on the pedal board, you can't really see much of it on there, but that'd probably set you back a bit more, but I know a cunt who does them for me. But yeah, so all up $30. Is it worth it? I think so. I don't know. It hasn't been road tested. It hasn't been camp tested as such. Like I said, I'm going to take it up to the conference. Won't be camping, but you know, I do have a camp coming up early winter, I think, and I'm looking forward to getting it out there on the road and seeing how it goes, seeing how it performs. In terms of everything else, oh, hang on, there's one more thing I just want to show you real quick. I'll do this. I'll do this. Now, what if you're camping and you got dust blowing around everywhere? You don't want that getting in your pedals or in your amp. We've got on the side, hang on, yeah, I will. I'll just quickly turn it around over here. We've actually got a little port in there, little Velcro flap to access it. So I can still plug in. I've got everything set up right, so. So you can actually plug in and play while the lid's on the box, keeping all the dust out of your pedals. Pretty low at the moment, but at higher levels the box actually adds its own tone. That's where you that Tasmanian oak really comes in. At higher volumes it actually adds a bit of a fuzzy sort of tone to your guitar. Which is pretty cool. So I'm, I could do things like add little speaker grills and stuff into the box. Obviously when it's closed like this, you can't work on any of your pedals or anything, adjust your levels or anything. It is just a plug in and play. Maybe the addition of some kind of get a G2 up on top kind of defeats the purpose, you get a bit of rain on there, everything would be okay. Heavy rain I'm not too sure about, although the level of this pedal board, the level of the pedal board is up above the lip of this lid, the base, so even if it did start to fill up with water, it wouldn't fill up past your pedal board, so all your stuff would be up out of the water, I think. But hopefully that wouldn't happen. Anyway, so that's the camp box. Like I said, just the prototype at this stage. Don't flood me with orders just yet. We're still working on it. I'll take it to the conference, see if we can come up with some better modifications. But yeah, that's him. Like I said, my review, was it worth it? Yeah, I reckon. $30, as I said. Will I use it? Absolutely, I'm going to take it. As I said, early winter, I've got a camp coming up. Might sneak in a camp before then. We'll see. But if not, it's definitely getting a run out there. Keep this on the down low. I've got to talk about this at the conference. We're thinking about some, I'm thinking about some additions to the range, but you might see them coming up in a video, or they might not come out at all. Who knows? Alright. Rightio. Kid fuck cunts.